Hi, I'm Justin, the head astronomer here at the Science Museum of Virginia, and I'm going to bring you my top 5 space stories of 2024. Number 5. Small steps for human space flight. After several delays, this was finally the year that the Starliner capsule carried astronauts to the International Space Station. But lingering problems with Starliner led to the decision to send it back without its passengers. Astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore are staying on the ISS until early 2025, when they'll come home on a Dragon spacecraft instead. On another note, 2 members of the private Polaris Dawn spaceflight completed the first commercial extravehicular activity, or spacewalk. It was brief, but like the first short spacewalks of the 1960s, it was a step towards bigger things in the future. Many new developments in spaceflight are being driven by commercial interests, but this kind of innovation doesn't guarantee immediate success. Number 4. Turning lunar exploration on its head. A new wave of robots made their mark on the lunar surface this year. The NASA-led Artemis program is a bold international effort to resume human visits to the surface of the moon, but crewed flights won't start until at least 2026. Still, the pace of robotic exploration of the moon is picking up. In January, Japan's Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, or SLIM, suffered a partial engine failure just before its autonomous landing, causing it to tip over and land on its nose. In February, on the commercial IM-1 Nova C lander, a laser altimeter critical to its landing sequence wasn't activated properly prior to launch. An experimental NASA system was used instead, but the spacecraft came in too fast, broke one of its landing legs, and tipped over. Both SLIM and IM-1 gave engineers plenty of information for future lunar landings. Over the summer, China completed a first-of-its-kind sample return mission from the lunar far side. Previous samples from the moon, like the rocks picked up by the Apollo astronauts, came from the near side of the moon. These new far side samples are much younger than expected, showing that that side of the moon was molten longer than scientists previously thought. While we wait for humans to return to the surface of the moon, robots are continuing to put a new spin on lunar exploration. Number 3. Earth's extra moon. Thanks to a nearby asteroid, Earth had a temporary bonus moon, but that's not all. When it comes to asteroids, your first concern may be a catastrophic collision. And 4 times in 2024, astronomers discovered an asteroid on a collision course with Earth. But each one was small, and they all burned up safely in the atmosphere. One of the most attention-grabbing asteroids was 2024 PT5. In September, it wandered close enough to the Earth to be captured as what you might call a mini-moon. But this rendezvous didn't last, and by late November 2024, PT5 had escaped Earth's gravity and resumed its orbit around the Sun. Other asteroids appear to loop slowly around the Earth as they orbit the Sun, earning them the title of quasi-moon. This year, astronomers may have tracked one of them, Kamo'oleva, to a surprising source. Some 4 million years ago, another asteroid hit the moon, creating the Giordano Bruno impact crater and throwing debris into space. Based on its appearance and orbit, we think Kamo'oleva may be one of those pieces of debris. And recent research shows that 2024 PT5 may be a fragment of the moon as well. Each year, new discoveries remind us that asteroids can help us trace our solar system's past and may help determine our future. Number 2, the race to Jupiter's moons. A first-of-its-kind flyby and a new mission launch sent 2 spacecraft towards some of the most interesting moons in the solar system. This year, the Parker Solar Probe broke its own record for the closest approach to the Sun, Bepi Colombo flew by Mercury twice, and the new Hera mission launched towards the asteroid system where the DART spacecraft intentionally crashed in 2023. It's exciting to see such a diverse range of missions, but this year, one set of targets was front and center: the moons of Jupiter. The European JUICE spacecraft is on its way to explore the moons Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, but it needs little help to get to Jupiter. It's not unusual for a spacecraft to fly by a planet and do a gravity assist, but in August, JUICE did something new, flying by both the moon and Earth during the same encounter, borrowing a little momentum from both worlds. Jupiter is still a distant goal, and 3 more gravity assists are needed before JUICE arrives in 2031. The biggest launch of the year was also aimed at Jupiter's moons. On October 14th, the Europa Clipper mission set off from Kennedy Space Center. It's the largest interplanetary spacecraft that NASA has ever developed. With the help of a speedy Falcon Heavy launch and 2 gravity assists, the Europa Clipper will reach the Jupiter system in 2030. Once in orbit, it will conduct dozens of flybys of Europa, studying its suspected subsurface ocean, hoping to find whether it might be habitable. There are a lot of fascinating worlds in the solar system, but now 2 spacecraft are racing to study Jupiter's moons like never before. Number 1. All eyes on the Sun. It's always been a central figure in our lives, but this year the only star in the solar system truly took center stage. In April, a much anticipated total solar eclipse was visible across a narrow swath of North America. Due to the number of large cities in the path of totality and the number of people that traveled to see it, this may have been the most watched solar eclipse in history. Coordinated observations along the path of totality allowed astronomers to measure changes in the sun's corona over just a few hours, and amateur radio operators were able to observe changes in Earth's ionosphere during the eclipse. Cameras carried aloft by balloons were also able to see waves traveling through Earth's tropopause, another layer of the atmosphere. The sun caused another type of sky show this year as strong flares on its surface released charged particles into space that triggered strong auroras here on Earth. The auroral displays were visible much farther south than usual, including across most of the continental United States. The solar activity that causes auroras ebbs and flows every 11 years, and in 2024 the sun officially reached the peak of this cycle. Now, these solar storms can also affect the power grid and satellite communications here on Earth, so astronomers will be carefully watching the sun for the coming months. Despite all of the amazing things that happened in space science and exploration this year, nothing could hold a candle to the sun in 2024. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned next year for even more from across the universe.